So Andy, it's saying we have detected multiple streams using the same stream key with auto start enabled. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, you're good to go.
Okay. Well, terrific. Welcome, students, family members, supporters, to Starting Strong at UNLV, Strategies for Online Learning Success. It's so great to have you all here today. My name is Jeff Orgera, and I have the honor of serving as our Associate Vice Provost for Student Success. And I'm here with a great team of colleagues with the same goal to answer the questions that you submitted prior to today's event and hopefully get to a few others if we have time. So just to give you a quick overview, we're going to go ahead and do our introductions of our panelists, and then we're also going to be using the chat feature to share lots of different links and resources throughout our time. So definitely keep an eye on that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to our first panelist, Andy.
Hi, everybody. Great to see you. Great to have you here today. My name's Andy Bortz, and I am the Instructional Technology Support Specialist for the Office of Information Technology at UNLV, and I've been there just over 2 years. And I specialize in anything relating to lecture capture and video recording, along with live video conferencing like you're experiencing today. And kind of a fun fact, I'm a bit of a tech geek, and my background here has this little certified logo of being a technology specialist. So that's a pretty cool thing I've gotten to experience so far. Great to have you all here.
Thanks, Andy. And next we have Brianna.
Everyone, my name is Brianna Whiteside. I'm an assistant professor of English at UNLV, where I teach African American literature and science fiction, undergrad and grad level, and I'm excited to have this discussion with you all.
Thank you, Brianna. And next we have Daisy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daisy. I'm an academic success coach at the Academic Success Center. And as a coach, I like to offer resources and help you guys with soft skills like time management, motivation. And what's really cool is I myself am a student. I'm a graduate student right now pursuing my master's in social work. So I get to offer that peer-to-peer experience with you guys. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you, Daisy. And then next we have Hector.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hector. I work at the IT Help Desk here at UNLV. We're here to help with all your technology needs. You can contact us for password resets, new accounts, wireless, email, web campus, or other technology questions. You can get in touch with us by phone or email. You can schedule an appointment as well. All this information is available on our website, it.unlv.edu/help. Thanks.
Thank you, Hector. And next we have Lauren.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Leighton. I'm Associate Director for the College of Education Student Services Center, but today I'll be representing all academic advising across campus. For those of you who don't know, every undergraduate student on campus has an academic advising or student success center that's specific to their college. Hopefully you all know which college your major falls under, who your academic advisor is, how to reach your advising center. But if not, I'm going to help you with that really quickly right now before we get started. We have 2 different centralized academic advising pages on our UNLV website, and I believe we're going to link that for you here right now. These 2 pages will show our 12 colleges at UNLV with all of their respective majors. They'll provide you each advising center's website, contact info, on-campus location, and a really, really helpful advising FAQ page that will keep you up to date as we have ongoing changes that's related to remote instruction, SU grading, and everything you need to be about the evolving changes right now. So another quick tip I'm going to give you before I turn it over, because I have to do my due diligence, is to check your Rebel Mail and your web campus daily and maintain regular contact with your academic advisors. We are here to help you, support you, guide you through this experience. We want to make sure that we're connecting you to opportunities and resources on campus to be sure that you're engaged and feeling fulfilled and getting what you want and need and deserve out of your UNLV experience. So we are one of the many, many groups on campus dedicated to your success. So I'm super excited that you all are tuning in with us today. I'm thrilled to be here with you. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Lauren. And then we have Olivia.
Hi, everybody. My name is Olivia Checky. I am the Senate President for CSUN Student Government. I am an undergraduate student here at UNLV going into my third year, majoring in political science and minoring in public policy. So just like a lot of you watching, I am a fellow student.
Thank you so much, Olivia. So everyone, we're so excited to dig into your questions that you submitted. And we took some time beforehand to kind of group the questions. So we have some technology related, we have some classroom and course related. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and read the question and then hand it off to our expert who's here to respond. But before that, I do that, I just want to give you a few words of advice from my end of the world and the work at UNLV. And the first thing is to celebrate where you are. I know you have a lot of questions and things are uncertain right now, but you've worked really hard to get here. And we're just so happy that you've joined us today because it already shows us that you're actively engaged with your learning and your plans at UNLV. So be patient with yourself. You might not get all your questions answered today, but you'll get connected with us and lots of links and resources, and you'll continue to learn and get those questions answered throughout. And there's going to be ongoing opportunities for help. So don't feel like if you don't get it today, you're out of luck. The other thing, make goals, write your goals down, and keep revisiting those goals from time to time. So a couple of things that I've learned over the years is if you don't write it down, it's not real. So go ahead and write your goals down for maybe not only your individual courses, but your overall semester at UNLV. And then also embrace the uncertainty through questions and curiosity and self-care and being good to yourself, okay? So lots going on in our world, and this is a real opportunity for you all now to focus on you and invest in yourself and your educational goals at UNLV. And then lastly, just know that we're a small team that's committed to help you, but there's a much larger team on campus. And know that we're paying attention to you all the time. You might not see that every day, but there's folks out there working in offices and sending emails, and we're reaching out to you. So at any time, just put your hand up and let us know what you need, and we'll help you find that. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into our first question. And the first question is, please excuse my reading on this, but I have to make sure I get the fine print. How will instructors be communicating with us? And I'm going to pass this one to Brianna.
Two primary ways that professors or your instructors will be communicating with you. The first would be through your Rebel mail. We will be sending regular emails. You may have gotten a few from some of your teachers already. If you haven't, prepare to receive them starting next week. The second way that we will communicate is directly through Canvas. So in your course shell, you will see announcements that your instructor may update weekly, daily. So be sure to check those out because we'll always be consistently communicating and over communicating now that we are remote. So be sure to check your email daily and your web campus Canvas shell where your classes will be. So those are the two primary ways.
All right, thank you so much. Our next question is, how do you meet and connect with other students as an online/remote student? And we're going to have Olivia answer this one for us.
Awesome. So I think this is a really great question. And I know that it is something that I was kind of confused about when we first went to remote learning as well. So Brianna just mentioned that pretty much any class you take is going to use Web Campus or Canvas, whatever you want to call it. And while it's a great way for your professor to interact with you, it also has the contact information, the emails for all of your classmates. So something that a lot of my classmates have been doing since we went to remote learning is emailing everybody within that first week and being like, hey, I think it'd be a really good idea if we had a class group chat. And at first I was kind of hesitant of the idea, but it's actually been really great. A lot of these group chats have been over GroupMe, and it's just been super great for sharing notes and holding each other accountable and kind of debating ideas that come up in class sometimes. And it's not something I really expected going into this whole remote learning thing, but it's gotten me closer to my classmates. And then, yeah, so I now have friends in class that help me with everything.
Thank you, Olivia. Our next question is also for you, so get ready. What's the hardest thing about online learning, and how can we overcome it?
So I would say that when we first went to remote learning, the hardest thing for me to adjust to was separating home life and work life. So everything was in the same environment. I was working, I was doing homework, I was living my life all in the same space. And it was really hard to deal with at first. But I think the most important thing you can do for yourself is separate the timing of when you do what. So I've forced myself to kind of work on my classwork when the class was originally scheduled for. I forced myself to do work during that originally planned time. And then I still spend time with my family at the end of the day. I still take a break at the end of the day. I think mental health is really important. So learning to separate and kind of take advantage of the time that was already given to you is a really great way to go about that.
Great advice. Thanks, Olivia. Our next question is, how are professors handling and managing the task of providing an online learning environment that isn't too condensed for students to manage? And this one is for our faculty member, Brianna.
Yeah, so every professor is different, and our teaching styles are different, and our expectations are different. So each person will have their specific type of syllabus that they've created for your class, right? So, for instance, for my class, I have stretched readings out over longer periods of time, as opposed to when we're in class meeting, I would cram a little bit more reading in because we're in person face to face. Now, just because we planned the syllabus for 16 weeks does not mean that it's going to stay that way. We often adapt our classes to the student's needs. So if we find that we may be over burdening you with work and we're not getting through the material, we will revise the syllabus, alerting you while we're doing it and letting you know, hey, we're tailoring this to your needs. So what we try to do as faculty members is keep you in mind. We try to keep your learning styles in mind, your needs, and we are trained to practice more grace and also to keep your specific situation in mind, right? So we are allowing more time for you to do work. Make sure you get with your professor to make sure that they're doing that. But over in our faculty meetings, we have been advised to be more understanding as we would typically, what we even wouldn't typically in face-to-face. So we are catering to you. Keep that in mind. We are not being selfish, and we won't expect you to do extraordinary things during this time.
Thank you so much, Brianna. Our next question is, what are some time management tips for learning online? So we've mentioned a few of these, but Daisy has a few more to share with us.
Yeah, definitely. With time management, I think the number one thing to remember is it's different for everyone, and to try things that are going to work for you, even though they might not work for other people, or they do work for other people. One of those things could just definitely be how you're planning everything. So definitely having a daily to-do list or a weekly checklist or a planner or a digital planner, or maybe a combination of the two. Try them out, see how they work. Also, scheduling, kind of like Olivia said, scheduling that specific study time and that specific family time. As a coach, we like to work with our students individually and to see where it works in with their schedule and how to do it. Also, trying out studying techniques with the Pomodoro technique, which is you study for 30 minutes straight, you take a 5-minute break, and then you keep studying for 25 minutes. These are some techniques that really help students, but the number one thing I think for time management is just to really schedule time and be realistic with yourself to say, okay, I know I'm going to wake up at this time, I'm going to do work at this time. Be aware of when you're most productive, whether it's in the morning or whether it's at nighttime. Really pay attention to that. It's really just about what works for you.
All right, great advice. Thank you, Daisy. Okay, our next one is, if a time is listed for a class, will the class start and end on time? And Lauren's going to take this one for us.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to want to continue checking your course details in my UNLV for this. So just a quick overview, your courses will either be offered in person, remote, or online through Web Campus. Now, if they're designated as TBA or web-based, that typically means that they're going to be offered in the traditional online setting in Web Campus. As this question is asking, though, if there's days and times listed that appear in my UNLV for your courses, you want to make sure that you have those days and times available, regardless of whether it's a class that meets in person on campus or remotely. So in my UNLV, if a class is identified as remote learning, there's a good chance that the class will be meeting in real time, but over an online platform like Google Meets or Google Hangouts. However, just keep an eye out in your Rebel Mail and on Web Campus for communication coming from your instructors, as they may be determining different start times that fall within those times listed in my UNLV. But your instructor is always going to be the one to make that final determination about how and when you're required to be meeting for class. And they should be communicating that to you very, very soon if they haven't already, definitely before the semester starts. In that advising FAQ doc that I referenced previously, there's a really helpful diagram on the first page, and that explains the different course designations that I was just talking about. It shows you where to look for these, what each of them means. And just as a quick reminder, our on-campus class schedules have been modified to ensure that students are able to safely transition to classes in a timely manner. So just be sure that you're paying attention to those class start and end times in my UNLV, because they may look a little different than you're used to, than they may have looked in the past. So just remember, keep regularly checking your My UNLV, your Rebel Mail, and your Web Campus, and you can't go wrong.
Thank you, Lauren. So students and supporters, you're clearly interested in time management and organization. So here's another question on this. I think it's a very good thing to be interested in. So the question is, how do we make an effective schedule for our classes? So we're going to have both Olivia and Lauren answer this one, so we get both the student perspective and our staff perspective. So whoever wants to go first. How about we do Olivia first?
Awesome. So just to clarify, does this question mean building what classes we're going to take in a semester, or how we time manage from there?
Well, since many of our students probably already have their schedules built from new student orientation, I would take it from the piece of how do we handle the workload, maybe also along with, working a little bit and managing family and other commitments and some of those pieces.
Yeah, definitely. So I know that when I got into college, it required a lot more diligence than it did in high school. So for me, that looked like using a planner and being very diligent about creating both a daily to-do list and a weekly to-do list. So I think something that has really worked for me with regards to balancing everything and staying focused is having a list of things that I want to accomplish in a certain amount of time so that everything gets turned in on time. So that has been both daily and weekly. And then other than that, I would say that Google Calendar is a really great tool for just staying organized, knowing when you want to plan study time, when you want to work, when you want to do all of these different things.
Thanks, Olivia. Lauren, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about the day-to-day and the broader course scheduling in general, just in case we have folks out there that don't have their fall schedules yet. Hopefully you do.
Or that they're shifting around still.
Yeah, exactly. Because everything's, I mean, we know it's always changing. So that's what we do. We adapt to it. But again, I cannot stress enough how important and how helpful it is to be tapping into your on-campus resources, your academic advisors, your academic success coaches in the ASC, the Academic Success Center. That's what we're here for. Students, you do not have to go through any of this alone. So we will help you make sure that you are creating effective schedules that meet all of your personal and academic needs. So we're going to make sure that you're planning a schedule that keeps you on track with your graduation goal, making sure that you're following in line with your unique course sequencing that's required for your majors, that we're being mindful of courses that you have to take that are only offered in the fall or only offered in the spring, that we're accommodating all of these specific needs of yours. So for instance, if you do require all remote course instruction due to COVID-related circumstances, we're going to make sure that you're enrolled in a fully remote course schedule while ensuring that your degree progression is not negatively impacted or interrupted whatsoever. And if it's necessary, we'll make sure that we're helping to connect you with the Disability Resource Center on campus, or DRC, to make sure that we're getting all of your other accommodations set up as well. So just make sure that you're setting up an advising appointment with your advising center if you need to. If they're not on campus, we are still working remotely. We're offering email, phone appointments, video appointments. All of your advising centers also offer drop-in hours where you don't even need to schedule an appointment. You can just kind of pop right in. So just make sure you're communicating with your advisors and you know how to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And then again, the ASC, your success coaches, they have kind of like Olivia was talking about, these really awesome daily planners where you can kind of block schedule. It goes by like every half hour. I believe we're going to be linking to that as well. And these daily and weekly planners will just basically help kind of keep your day-to-day managed, keep you organized, help you find where those gaps are in your day, and it'll just keep things on track. So just make sure you're tapping into your resources because that's what they're there for.
All right, thank you so much. So we have, looks like one of our last questions at this point around this topic. So that's a great question. So how do you stay disciplined and motivated to work online when there are distractions? We heard from a lot of students that they're worried about distractions in their house and other family members. So I know we also are going to link to a resource that shows how parents and families and others in the support network can help students out to help them stay distraction free. So if we could have both Olivia and Daisy respond to this question, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that the greatest way to kind of maneuver around this problem is by having a designated study space somewhere in your house. So I know that for me, in the beginning, I was trying to do all of my studying and all of my working kind of in the middle of everything. And it just wasn't working because I was getting distracted and my parents were home. So there was a lot to handle there. So I started going into a separate part of the house, setting up my own space where I had everything I needed to study and be productive. And I think that has helped a lot with staying focused and knowing that once I'm done with everything, then I can go back out and have my break and have my home time.
Yeah, going along with what Olivia said with the designated study space, that's really important, especially when you're taking into account the lighting. Lighting has a big deal, a lot to do with how motivated you are. How motivated you are. Also, your body posture, making sure you're not just working from bed and you're keeping those two areas separate. Even with you're working with family, like we could all get distracted, but even putting a sticky note on your door, one red one, a blue or a green one saying okay, you could come in now, you can't come in now. That was really helpful for me. Not only that, but also just being reminded why you are in college, remembering your goals. As a coach, I really like to talk to my students about their SMART goals, meaning how specific, how manageable and measurable they are, how attainable they are, realistic they are, and timely. So these are kind of separate from main goals that you have. And if you are passionate about what you're studying in college, because we all know once we're passionate for something, we're more motivated to do it. So working with the coach with that. Another one is just remembering, this is all experience that is new to us, and creating those healthy routines and habits for yourself. I know for me personally, just changing out of pajamas and saying, okay, now I'm going to get started to work. Having those, healthy, productive routines. It doesn't have to be this long, oh, I'm going to have a yoga session and do this. Just saying, okay, what are my goals for today? What can I accomplish first? And maybe tackling the biggest assignment first, because that will get it out of the way. So again, talking with a coach, I love to work with my students when they're really, struggling with motivation and productivity, because that's something I have struggled with too. So just remember, we are a free resource, and we are really happy to help you, even if it's through a virtual setting.
Thank you so much. Great tips. I was writing those down myself. I love the sticky note thing. I'm going to do that in my own house. Okay, our next question. What? Oh my gosh, I can't read this. What type of computer do I need, and will a tablet or phone be enough? So this one's for Andy.
Hey, the geek is online. That's awesome. So even through my experiences as a student, you can justify what device is capable of doing what. But in many cases, especially when you're in an online platform, a laptop like a PC or a Mac is incredibly ideal because it allows you to multitask a lot more effectively. And even in a case like we're in, we can see more people, we can see more content, which is basically the goal of trying to emulate the classroom experience as much as we can from a virtual platform. Plus, PCs and Macs have a little bit more oomph and power to them. So if you need to run special software, they are really, really handy to have that kind of resource at your fingertips. We also recommend, if you're getting a laptop, to have a webcam on it and a microphone, and then that way it allows you to communicate in two ways with the folks that you might be interacting with, whether it's your instructor or your classmates. And the other thing that I found really handy is having a headset like I'm wearing here. The reason why I love a headset is because it puts my speakers right here and it puts my microphone right here. And I don't know if you can hear it right now, but there's a leaf blower that somebody's running outside my apartment, but it's not getting onto the recording, hopefully. I hope somebody would tell me if that was the case. But the headset really helps with that, both from an instruction standpoint and from a participation standpoint. So it blocks out any outside noise. And if you are looking at purchasing a computer, there are discounts available if you go to our help site. You can get some information on that. And the IT help desk can also help with guiding you to a device that would work the best for you, depending upon what you're looking for. But we recommend having a PC or a Mac laptop at the very least to help you with your experience.
Sounds great. Thank you, Andy. Our next question, does UNLV have any programs that support low-income students that have limited access to a reliable computer or the internet? And we're going to have Hector respond to this one.
Yeah, so this is a really important question. We have a limited number of laptops, webcams, microphones, Wi-Fi hotspots that you can check out for the entire semester. If you have any technology needs, you should absolutely contact your academic advisor or complete the technology loan form. The program is operated by the library here on campus with the Office of Information Technologies Assistance. I believe the link to the document, to the form is on the document shared with this session. So check it out.
Thank you, Hector. Yeah, students, there are some great tools available for loan. So we have a limited supply, but I'd say if that's an issue, get on it right away. We'll do our very best to help. Here's another one, tech related. What supplies should I have on hand to be a successful online learner? So I guess it's tech and or other supplies. And this is going to be Andy.
Okay, cool. So of course, to be able to fully participate in the sessions, you're going to need the device that you plan to use to synchronously join. So in this case, your laptop is going to be the most important piece of your arsenal. One other thing that I've found to be a really good supply, if you're able to use it, is an Ethernet cable. And I know we're in the age where everything is connected to the internet with a wireless connection, but having that Ethernet cable and connecting directly to a router in your home, for example, really helps make the experience a lot better and a lot less spotty. And I was just looking at my router, and we have 16 devices. I just live with my wife and cat, and he doesn't have a cell phone, but we have 16 devices connected to our router. And so if I were to try and use my Wi-Fi right now, it might be complaining at me. So I'm actually in my family room with a wire running to my router directly. So that's a really good supply to have as well, because that minimizes the risk of possibly missing something because somebody freezes or the audio cuts out. As long as your internet connection is nice and solid like that, it really helps enhance the experience. And another really good supply to have is knowing is some resources just in case you need assistance. So things like having the help desk phone number right next to your machine might be really helpful. Or maybe your instructor will send you a couple of guides on what to do in case you need some troubleshooting help. So having all of those at your arsenal is really important as well, so that you know what to do in case you get into a bit of a jam.
Thanks, Andy. Sounds great. Okay, so as we start to make our way back to campus, this question is, will there be places on campus to access the internet? And this is for Hector.
Yes, so we have been working diligently for the past few years and continue to work to cover the campus in Wi-Fi. We have a website, wireless.unlv.edu. If you go to view Wi-Fi locations on the middle of that page, you can see this comprehensive map of where Wi-Fi is available. Along with that, we have computer labs all over campus that will begin reopening starting next week, and into the start of the fall, we'll reopen a larger percentage of those computer labs. And the library has about 160 computers that will be available at the start of the semester, and more will come online as the semester progresses. Along with that, I did get a note late today that we will have classrooms available for people to use to do their online classes. They'll be in WRI, MPE, FDH, and BHS. The exact rooms, we'll start announcing them as we bring them online. These rooms are for quiet study. There'll be a place to provide, they're to provide a place to attend a remote class on campus that has good Wi-Fi. You'll have to bring your own equipment. That means a headset if you're taking online classes live. And social distancing will be in place, and there will be people there to kind of clean and sanitize the location. And masks will also be required for the areas. So, thank you.
Thanks, Hector. So yeah, students, those letters that Hector just read off, those are all buildings, and you'll be able to find those buildings based on the letters once you look at some of the resources that we're putting out there. But you'll know them pretty quickly once you start doing your classes. Thank you. Okay, here's one. When should I start purchasing my books, and what happens if the book is sold out from the bookstore? So this one's for Brianna.
Can start purchasing your books now. And the way that you would know which books to purchase is you will go online, go to UNLV bookstore online, and search your course and section number and your professor's name. We generally upload book lists to the bookstore to let students know which books are required for our classes. Now, if for some reason your professor has not uploaded that book list yet, go ahead and wait till the first day of class, or wait for an email to come through, because we will be communicating with you then. We will go over the syllabus generally on the first day of class and let you know which books are required. If your books are sold out at the bookstore and you know they're sold out now, go ahead and send your professor an email. Send it sooner than later, generally what we do, we may upload chapter PDF versions of the book until you can get the book from the bookstore. We do know that a lot of our books are on delay because of the times that we're in, and a lot of people are not shipping out physical copies. So we are aware of that, and we are making provisions for those instances. So make sure you're more proactive as opposed to reactive. If you know it's sold out, just go ahead and send your teacher an email. Then they will likely let you know the next step and the expectation. Another thing you can do is consider going to the bookstore online. I mean, not the bookstore, the library online, to see if the book is on course reserve or if there's an ebook version in the library. A lot of students don't know that you can literally borrow the book. You don't have to buy it, right? So you can borrow the book for the class and then you're fine. But go ahead and check the library for a digital copy. And of course, maybe consider other platforms that sell books like Amazon and other things like that. But let that be your last option, right? You want to, contact your professor first. Well, first check the course reserve book list at the bookstore. Second, you want to email your teacher or wait until the first day of class. Third, you want to check out the library. And then fourth, you want to check out other platforms. But generally, your professor will let you know the best course to continue on.
Thank you. Here's a great question. Someone who's really ready to get started. How will I know which programs and apps I need to download for the first day of classes? So this one's also for Brianna.
Your professor will let you know which apps they want to use. And wait until the first day of class or wait until you receive an email again. I know in my classes, we are using Panopto, and that's just this fun video chat conferencing tool that I'm using and trying out again for the second semester. As to go back to one of the previous questions on how will we take into consideration online learning? Well, one of my strategies is to eliminate some of the writing samples and allow students to do more virtual verbal conversations as opposed to writing longer papers. So my students will know that they have to download Panopto, but all of that information I'm going to go over on the first day of class, and it's also in the course shell. So as a result of teaching online, faculty members are required to build our classes inside of Canvas. That means we are required to upload our syllabus, upload any information that we may need or that you may need to know. We have to be proactive just as you have to be proactive. So you can go ahead, if your course is open or when it opens, just go ahead and look to see how your professor has laid out your course shell and see what types of expectations they have. Alternatively, you can wait until the discussion happens on the first day of class and they will let you know what apps to download, if any, that is in addition to, the Canvas shell that we're already using.
All right, thank you, Brianna. All right, our next question is, where can students find help when needed? Are there special resources for new students? And this one's for Lauren.
I love this question. There's so many places where you can go for help when needed. We have so many specialized resources, especially for our new students. And I'll talk about some of them. So we'll be providing some of them here in either on the screen or in the chat. So the first one I'm going to talk about is specifically geared for our first year students. And these are our amazing first year academic advisors. So every advising center on campus has a first year advisor who specializes in first year and new student programming and advising. They are here to guide and assist our new students through their transition to UNLV. So we have a website that we're going to be sharing, and this website will profile each first year advisor on campus, which college they belong to, along with their contact info. And this webpage is a great site because there's a ton of other info included on it. That's really helpful for new students, such as a list of key terms that may be new to you as a new UNLV student. There's also a ton of information on how to get involved at UNLV. so that you truly feel like a member of our family here. That is so important now more than ever. And there's just so much more info about your first year success experience. So we've spent a lot of time tailoring your first year at UNLV to include a comprehensive network of engagement and support opportunities to promote your success and your student achievement. So if you visit this site, you'll be able to learn a lot more about what to expect your first year. We'll also be providing the link to UNLV's Welcome Weeks. Yes, that is weeks with an S, because our special welcome programming goes through September 18th. We give you more than just 1 week of welcome fun here at UNLV. So different departments across campus have teamed up to provide a variety of events to help our students become more acclimated to UNLV or to welcome back our returning students. So there's some really informative sessions scheduled that will equip you with essential information in order to succeed here. So just some examples of what to expect. We have a community virtual part-time job fair, virtual trivia nights and dance parties, Financial Fridays, where you'll learn about the financial aid process at UNLV. Because I mean, honestly, who doesn't want or need to learn more about their money? We have Woke Wednesdays, where our student leaders on campus will be hanging out on Google Meets to provide some of their best tips, academic resources, so much more. And then finally, I would encourage anybody looking for help or resources to take advantage of our Ask Me Call helpline. So if you're a continuing student here, you'll probably remember our Ask Me Help booths that are typically set up all over campus at the beginning of every semester. So naturally, things had to shift a little bit this time around, but the help is still here. We're going to post the phone number that you can call. It's 702-774 8004. And this will be available on Monday and Tuesday, the first 2 days of the semester from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And you can call with virtually any question you have, any issue you're having, and you'll be speaking with somebody live, a live person who's there to assist you. And finally, of course, remember whether you're a brand new student or you're a senior returning for your final year or final semester, your academic advisors are here for you. So even if it's something that you think we wouldn't normally assist with or know about, at the very least, we're going to be able to connect you with the appropriate resource or contact for whatever you need. So if you don't know who to go to or where to go to, just reach out to your academic advisor and we'll point you in the right direction.
Thank you so much. That was great. So we've got 4 questions left and we've got about 15 minutes. So hopefully we can get through these 4 and then maybe have time to answer a few questions that have come in through the chat. So this one's for Hector. Where will all my online and remote class materials be located?
Sure. So I think Brianna kind of touched on this earlier. Instructors usually contact students through Rebel Mail and Web Campus, which is also referred to as Canvas. Both of those systems use your ACE account. And if you have any trouble logging into any of that, you can call us and we can assist you with all that. However, it is best to contact your instructor or look at the syllabus just to verify that they are using those resources. Thanks.
Thank you, Hector. Another one kind of related. So student wants to know, how do I learn to navigate through my online courses? I guess this is, how do I submit assignments and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So luckily, Web Campus or Canvas is pretty easy to use, but we have tons of material online. So at it.unlv.edu/webcampus/canvas, and if you click on student support, you'll see all this literature there to help you out. But you may have one-off questions and or very pointed questions, or things may not go right. You can call us at 702-895-0777 from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day of the week, including holidays and weekends. Or you can email us at ithelp@unlv.edu. for those less urgent questions. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Hector. And all of our listeners, we're going to make sure all these phone numbers and links and everything are in the Google Doc that we send to you at the end of the session. So don't worry about trying to write everything down. We'll make sure it's all in there. Okay. And then my next question is for Brianna. In an online class, who sets the rules of behavior? This is a good one. Who keeps the group on task and manages who speaks when we're in an online format like this?
Your professor does. We manage the class. We are, I hate to say it, the gatekeepers, but we keep everyone in line, respectful, and we kind of guide who participates and also encourages other people to participate as well. So just like in a typical classroom, in-person classroom, where your professor will begin discussions, especially those classes that are heavy discussion-based, we generally roll out the classroom. So always look to your professor for clues. Now, I know that it can kind of be difficult online when everyone wants to speak. We will resort to calling people's names. We will say, hey, you speak now. Okay, we have such and such. I have you after this person. Like, don't worry. We're not going to put the burden on you. We assume the responsibility for facilitating a successful online class.
Thank you, Brianna. And when in doubt, we use the mute button, right? No, just kidding. Okay, last question, panel. How will we get our Rebel cards if we're not in Nevada? And this one's for Hector.
Sure, that's also a great question. So, with all this stuff, this transition to remote, we've brought online a new service for Rebel Card. If you go to rebelcard.unlv.edu, you can click a link there where you can submit your photo online. You'll log in with your ACE account, and again, you can call us and we can help you with that as well. We are looking into mailing these possibly starting in September. There's some logistics to work out, but I think that's what we're aiming for. So.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, those were all the previously submitted questions, and we have 2 that have come in through the chat, so I think we should be able to get through these. So the first question is there Ethernet connection in the dorms or residence halls? So I'm hoping Hector or Andy can help us with that one.
Andy, I can take this one. I'm not totally sure, but there is an office you can email, rebelrepair@unlv.edu, and you can ask about all IT-related things that pertain to campus life technology, so the dorms includes that.
That's perfect. Yeah, so I would say go to the website also for Housing and Res Life, and they'll typically tell you as they're describing the rooms and what they come with, whether there's Ethernet. So that's a great question, and I'd say follow up with the links that Hector suggested and with housing. The next question is, are we going to be able to audit classes? So that essentially means taking classes for audit rather than a graded class. So Lauren, do you feel like you can take that one? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like any other normal semester, yes, absolutely. You will be able to audit a class this semester if you want or need to, unless something changes, which I don't think it will. For details on this, just be sure that you are reaching out specifically to your advisor to make sure that for your particular situation, because everyone has a different situation, right? Just make sure that auditing a class is truly in your best interest. And just remember, whether you are auditing a class, whether you are deciding to withdraw from a class, there does come a point in the semester where it is too late to take these actions. So be sure that you are staying up to date with the academic calendar on the registrar's office site. And be sure that you are, again, keeping in touch with your academic advisor, because they'll be able to relay that specific information and those specific dates to you as well. Good question.
Thanks, Lauren. Yeah, the key there is the dates, because you have to follow the dates and when you could switch to audit and graded, and certainly talk with your advisor about the implications of taking an audit grade too. Okay, well, that's all the questions that we have at this point. And I'd like to thank my panel and maybe give anyone on the panel a chance for a few closing remarks or words of wisdom and or encouragement for anyone who's listening. So I'll just open it up to the group.
Hi, this is Hector again. So, I was a student here, undergrad, grad. This place is great. I stayed here. Obviously, I'm still working here. This transition is kind of jarring, but I think everyone's doing so great. It's incredible to me how students have adapted to online learning, the shift for professors too, to this new kind of platforms, and just adopting all this stuff has been as smooth as it can possibly be. So, but obviously give us a call at IT if you have any issues at 702-895-0777. Please, please, please don't struggle. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Hector. Anyone else have any closing? Daisy?
Yeah, I just want to say that during this time, it could be really overwhelming as students. You have a lot of things on your plate and to balance out. So just don't forget about self-care and about yourself. We have CAPS, which is the Counseling and Psychological Services. We work directly with them with recommending students, and they're working virtually right now. So please don't feel like you can't, ask for help or anything. We really encourage you, as students, that you guys are going through so much, family, school, all this stuff. So there's somebody out there that can help you. We can help you. So just don't forget about your resources.
Great advice, Daisy. Yes. And it looks like one more question came in. Will the campus be open for studying, or will there be restrictions? And I'll start that one. And yes, the campus will be open for studying. Hector mentioned some classrooms being available for students to take their classes in and study, but there will be restrictions. So it's important to, check the library website for their hours of operation. Same thing in the student union. There's going to be some students and faculty and staff on campus in the fall for sure, but it's not going to be the full population of everyone. So, but be sure to check websites and call before you come to make sure the place that you want to go to is available. Anyone else want to add to that? Okay, well, I guess at this point, I'd like to thank my panelists for their high energy and their expertise and great engaging communication styles. This has been fun. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but I guess if I learned anything from my college-age son, that you're supposed to like the video in YouTube if you like it, and put in some comments and tell us that we want to do it again and all that kind of stuff. So folks, do that, okay? And keep in mind that all the links and resources that we shared from the speakers will be sent to you in a Google Doc into that chat. And again, like everyone has said, we're so happy you're joining us in the fall, and we're excited to start the semester. And just know that it's going to be a journey, but we're all in it together, and there's lots of people here to help you out. So we look forward to talking with you all soon. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks, everyone.